सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जीओ। सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जीओ। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभउ निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप। आदि सच जगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच। सुत पांड महीपत के जहने हर राज है कानन माहे फिराए। खिन माहे सो छत्र छिनाए लय दुर्योधन के तान पूमर लाए। सुत पांड महीपत के जहने। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Continuing on from Savaiya 32, Pandit Gulab Singh Ji is talking about how unfathomable God is and how he is beyond capable of doing anything within a second. The first example in the Savaiya that he's used is of the Pandavas. Panditji saying, Sutpanda Mahipat ke jehne har raj he kanan mahe firai. That how God was able to snatch away, he's so strong, he's so capable, that within 1 second he could take away the rule of the 5 sons of King Pandu, known as the Pandavas, within the Battle of Mahabharat. That he was able to take away their rule, their kingdom, and after taking it away, that he made them wander around in jungles. So the Pandavas, once they lost to the Kauravas, they got in exile to go and spend 12 years in jungles. And then after that 12 years, they had to then go and work as servants for 1 year under King Bharat. Khin mahe so chatar chinaye lai, Duryodhan ke tan pumrulai. That within 1 second, he's capable of taking the canopy of kingdom of sovereignty from all the kings. So basically, we're talking about the Kauravas as well as the Pandavas here, because first the Pandavas lost to Kauravas in Mahabharat, and then afterwards, after the 13 years, when they came back, and then there was a battle, then the Kauravas lost as well. So when the Kauravas lost in the Battle of Mahabharat, then Panditji saying, Duryodhan ke tan pumrulai, that when they lost, and Bhim, who killed Duryodhan by beating him with his mace on his private parts, because it's said that Duryodhan, his body had gotten really strong and hard after his mother Gandhari, because she used to cover her eyes with a blindfold. And there was at one time when Duryodhan wasn't wearing anything except for wearing just leaves around his private parts. So when Gandhari, his mother, took off the blindfold and she looked at him, all of his body hardened up except for the part that was covered around his thighs. So because after they lost in the battle and his body was just basically in the dust and no animal or anything would even eat him, and it couldn't even get burnt because it was so hard. So basically Panditji is saying that even though these people, they were so strong, and Duryodhan, whose body was so hard, that but still this is what God is capable of doing, that he can take the kingdom from these strong people and then their bodies would not even get eaten by vultures as well. It doesn't matter how strong they were. नल से महपाल के राज हरे, हरिचंद बनारस जाए बिकाए. Pandit is giving the example of King Nal, that God is able to take away the kingdom from kings such as King Nal. So uh, Raja Nal was the son of Raja Birsen from the lunar dynasty, and it's said that he once played a gambling game with his younger brother Pushkar, and he lost everything in that game, all his kingdom. So then he had to go and spend his days in hunger in the jungles, along with his wife. So because things had gotten so hard for him, and he didn't even have anything to eat, this one day, Indra Devta decided to place him in further difficulties. So Indra Devta transformed himself into the form of a pigeon and came and sat in front of them, in front of Raja Nal. And Raja Nal thought to himself that he should capture this pigeon and he should cook it, so at least he could get rid of his hunger. And to capture him, the only thing that King Nal had on him was his clothing. And so he took his clothing off and he threw it at the pigeon to try to trap him. But then, because the pigeon was actually in the Devta and he was strong, he actually flew away with this clothing. So in the end, he had nothing. But then in the end, he went and he had another game of gambling with his younger brother, Pushkar, and then he was able to win everything back as well. So this is the unfathomable game of God, that he can give you everything in an instant, and then he can take everything away in an instant as well. Hari Chand Banaras Sajaye Bikaye. This is another story of Raja Hari Chand, also known as Harish Chandra, saying that how he had to go to Banaras and he had to go and sell himself off as a servant, even though he was a king. So the story goes that Raja Harichand, he was the 18th king from the Solar dynasty. His father, Raja Trishanku, he was a disciple of Vashishta Muni. And this one day, Raja Trishanku goes to Vashishta Muni and says that I want to go to heavens, but I want to go whilst I'm still in my body, with my mortal body. So to that, Vashishta Muniji says that you should do all the good karma that you can in this world, and then once you leave your body, then you will be able to go and live in the heavens. But Raja Trishanku said that he wanted to go to heavens right now with his body. To that, Vashishta Muniji said that he wouldn't be able to do that. So Raja Trishanku decided that Vashishta Muni was no longer his guru, and he left him. And then he went and became a student of Vishwamitra ji. So then Vishwamitra, he promised to Raja Trishanku that he'll be able to send him to heavens along with his body. And when they were doing that, Vishwamitra was using all the mantras and all his powers to send Raja Trishanku to the heavens. And when he was going up to the heavens, all the deities in the heavens, when they saw this happening, and they considered Raja Trishanku to be a disgrace because he had abandoned his guru. So they did not want to give him any place in the heavens. So the deities were all using their powers to send Raja Trishanku back down. And then at the same time, Vishwamitra was using his powers to send him back up. And it is believed that he kind of just stayed in between the two realms, and he wasn't able to go anywhere. And so it's said that where this in between domain was, that's where Karmanaska river comes from. And it was through the touch of ninth Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji that it can eradicate the bad karma of people. And then, so once this happened with Raja Trishanku and his son Raja Harishchandra, he heard about the story. He heard about the condition of his father. He goes to Vashishta Muniji and he fell at his feet and he became a disciple of them. And now when Vishwamitra heard this, that Raja Harichandra had gone to Vashishta Muni, he got really angry, thinking that he had helped his father so much in trying to go to heavens with the body. he because and then Raja Harichandra went and became a student of Vashishta Muni. He got really upset at this, so he wanted to take his revenge. So, in trying to teach Raja Harichandra a lesson, Vishwamitra transformed himself into a wild boar, and he went to the garden of the king. And when he went there, he basically destroyed everything in the garden. So then the gardener went and told Raja Harichandra that there's a wild boar and he's destroyed the garden. And Raja Harichandra thought that I should first go and hunt this wild boar before I do anything else. So Raja Harichandra, because he was a king, he's known to be very steadfast in his dharma. And he would not do anything at all if his dharma didn't allow it. So the first thing that Raja Harichandra would do every day is before he consumed anything, he would give something away in charity first. Just like it's a good thing if we could adopt something like this into our lives, where before drinking water or eating something in the mornings, before we have our own breakfast, if we can maybe give something to somebody, if we can feed somebody else, if we can feed some seeds to the birds or something like that, it's a good practice. Anyway, moving on. So because Raja Harichandra, he would always give something in charity, and that day he hadn't done anything like that. So when he went and he was trying to chase the wild boar. He went deep into the jungles, and then over there, the wild boar, which was Vishwamitra, it disappeared, and he turned himself back into a Brahmin, and he sat above a water well. And then Raja Harichandra, he came in and he saw that there was a Brahmin sitting there. And he, at this time, because a lot of the day had gone past, he was really thirsty and his lips had dried up. And now he didn't carry any water with himself as well. So when he saw the well, he spoke to the Brahmin, and the Brahmin told him that, dear king, even if you can just make a mental notion that you're going to give me something in charity, then you should just have this water. Like, it's fine. Because the mental notion, thinking that I'm going to do charity, is as good as giving charity as well. So Raja Harichandra agreed, and then he took water, and he had some water. And then, because this was a trick, what Vishwamitra did was, he, using his powers, he took everything away from the king. He took away all of his kingdom. The story is mentioned slightly differently in different places, but this is how it's mentioned here. And that when Vishwamitra took everything away from him, including all of his kingdom, Raja Harichandra, because he had made a commitment to himself that he was going to give something away in charity to this Brahmin, he was steadfast in his dharma. Now, because he didn't have anything at all to give, so the first thing that the king had to do was he had this idea. He thought, I have to keep my dharma. I have to give something away in charity, and I have nothing, but I have myself. So maybe I should sell myself off to somebody as a servant, and then I'll get some money, and then I'll give it to Vishwamitra. But obviously, who was going to take him as a servant? So first of all, he decided to sell off his wife and his son to somebody as a servant. And then with that, he was able to get some money. So in one of the places where I read this, it was mentioned that it was something like 1,000 gold coins that he had to give away in charity. But obviously, he didn't get 1,000 gold coins just selling off his wife and his son. So then he went and sold himself off as well as a servant. And the place where he sold himself was to this guy who managed cremation grounds, basically. So then Raja Harichandra, he started burning corpses in the cremation ground, which was his new job now. And his boss, he told him that if somebody comes with a dead body and you have to cremate it, for the dead body, you have to burn it. You have to take sawa rupaya, which is 1.25 rupees. And only then you can burn that body. So this one day, a year or something passed by, and then one day he saw his wife come in with the dead body of his son in her arms, and she was crying a lot, she was mourning a lot. And the king obviously recognized his wife and his son, and they were both really deeply sad. And then they both wanted to burn themselves off with their son as well in the cremation grounds. But then at that time, because the Raja, the king, kept his dharma, and his dharma, because it was his job, it was his dharma was that he had to take 1.25 rupees to burn the body. So then he asked his wife that if you can provide me sawa rupaya, then I can burn our son's body. Otherwise, I can't. And hearing this, the queen or his wife, she got really upset and she cried and cried because she just couldn't believe that how can you be so steadfast in your dharma that you can't even burn that you've sold me and your son off and you can't even burn his dead body. Anyway, so hearing this, the queen left and then she sat outside the cremation grounds and then she was crying, and because of crying so much she felt unconscious. Now, passing by were some thieves. They had stolen from a very wealthy king. They had stolen a lot of money and jewels and everything. And before committing the robbery, they decided that if they were able to get a lot of wealth, that they would give some of it away in charity as well. So when they were walking past the cremation grounds, they saw the queen, and they thought, because she was unconscious, they thought maybe she was a saint or something. So they had a jeweled necklace with them, and they just, whilst walking past, they put that necklace in the queen's neck, Raja Harichandra's wife. And now, after this, what happened was, the soldiers of the from the palace, they came and they came looking for these thieves. And when they arrived at the cremation grounds, they looked at the queen and they thought that she's the one. Maybe she's stolen from the king, or maybe she was with one of the thieves. So they decided to capture her and bring her to the court of the king. And the king there, he gave the command that she should be killed as a punishment. So the soldiers then took her back to the cremation grounds, and they commanded the worker there, who was Raja Harichandra, to kill her. And Raja Harichandra obviously recognized his wife, and he was ordered to kill her. But Raja Harichandra, this is how steadfast he was in his dharma, that because it was his job there, that whoever he was ordered to kill, he would have to. So when he was ordered this, he took his sword, and then he was about to strike his wife, when all of a sudden, then to stop him, God himself arrived. And they said, "O king, your charitable provisions have now been completed." And then he was given all of his kingdom, all of his rule back, because God was very impressed with him that he kept his dharma. And Bhagwan asked him if he wanted anything in return. And the king replied that, "Oh God, if you're pleased with me, please take all of myself and all of my kingdom, literally everyone in my kingdom, to heavens." And God was pleased with him, and he granted him that boon. And now, when they were going to heavens, all of his kingdom, all of his town. On the way, Raja Harichandra saw one of the donkeys from his kingdom whining. And when Raja Harichandra saw that, he thought to himself, like, Harichandra, look at yourself. You're so great and you're so charitable and you're so steadfast in your dharma that because of this, even the donkeys from your kingdom are going to heavens. So he had this, he suddenly got this ego. And now, because ahankar, ego, is not something God is pleased with at all, because it gives us the harm power. It makes you think that you exist. So when this happened, Raja Harichandra, wherever he was on his way to the heavens, he stopped there. It's written here that some state that Raja Harichandra, along with his kingdom, they arrived in the heavens, but Narad Muni, he caused him to utter his praises, which caused all of the positive karma to be destroyed. And it was this reason that he was ejected from the heavens. So the moral of the story is that Panditji is trying to say that great kings such as Raja Nal and Raja Harichandra, even they are unable to understand the unfathomable God and what he can do within seconds. Pab mahe agad gati tinki, sab har pare gat koi na paye. That within this world, how God works, his ways are so unfathomable that everyone has tried, but no one has been able to understand him. Savaya sur ke pat geh ke jhne mahmandal mo gad lank dikhaye. That God is the one who's able to take sur ke pat, the king of the deities, which is Indra Devata, that he's able to take him and within this world show him the fort of Lanka. So the story of this is how Ravan, he won over Indra Devata and he made him his servant in Lanka. Gad Kanchan Sagar ki parkha te Ravan ke 10 moond kataye. Now, even though Ravan was so strong and that he had a fort of gold, and then around that fort he had a moat of water. So as you must have seen, when the kings have their forts, to protect them from enemies, they make a moat of water around it so that enemy isn't able to easily access the fort. So Ravan has such a great kingdom. But then what happened was, that Ravan, who had 10 heads, even those got chopped off from his body. This is how God works. This is how unfathomable he is, that who knows why things happen, who knows why this play happens, but he does. अब औरन बात कहा कहिए, हर ताते के पद संगल पाए. Panditji saying, what else can I say? What else is there to say? Because even God's own father, speaking about Krishna ji here, that even God's own father had to endure having chains in his legs and feet. So the story here is that of Shri Krishna ji, when his mother Mata Devaki ji and his father Vasudev ji, when they got married, and the Mata Devaki ji's brother Kans, he was seeing Mata Devaki ji off after the wedding. There was a sage there, and he made this what is it called, prophecy, that the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudev, he was going to kill Kans, Devaki's brother. And Kans, who was a great king, he was a very strong, powerful, but cruel king. When he heard this, he decided to take Vasudev and Devaki, Krishna ji's mother and father. He decided to take them and place them in prison. And then he killed all of the, he killed he decided to kill basically all of their sons, all of the children that they would have, so that none of them would be able to kill him. But he was able to only kill, I believe, 6 of them, and there was the 7th one. It got swapped, and Devki's sister took him, and then the 8th one was Shri Krishna ji, where there's a whole story of how he got saved. But basically saying that Panditji saying, what else can I say, when because of how unfathomable God is, he even placed the chains around the feet of Vasudeva and Mata Devaki ji, who were the parents of Shri Krishna ji. Pav mahe agad gati tinki, sab har pare gat koi na paye. That in this world, the path of God, the path of karma, is so unfathomable that everyone has been defeated trying to figure out how these things work, but nobody has been able to understand it. Swaya krit purav ahe subha subjo phal devan ko jag pitar aaye. Panditji is continuing to talk about our karma and how he's saying that in the past, in our previous lives, whatever good and bad, subha asubha, subha meaning good, asubha meaning bad, and whatever good and bad karma that you've done, that it is those karma, they have come into this world to give us fruit for what we've done. Balte phal dehe sabay jan ko, jag nahe sake teh koe mitaye. That these karma, they are so strong that whatever we've done, it has to bear fruit. So this karma, with their own strength, they give fruit to everybody for whatever they have done. That within this world, nobody is able to get rid of their own karma. So once the arrow has been shot, it won't return. निसपेखन ढीलहे तार समंग वास लोगन को बह पांत फिराए. That these karma, they are so strong that just like how we watch at nighttime, how we watch a puppet show, and those puppets, they are held by the strings, and that's how they move. The puppets don't have any control themselves, that they're being controlled by those strings. That's how we are being controlled by our karma, that we just do whatever our karma makes us do. भाव माहे अगाध गति तिनकी सब हार परे गत कोई न पाए. That within this world, the path of karma, the path of Paramatma who's created that game of karma, is so unfathomable. Everyone has tried, but no one's been able to comprehend it. That's all we'll cover for today's class. We'll continue on from the next class. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.